welcome back, everybody. Oh, I just realized that I didn't make Stefan's green screen. Sorry, Stefan.
I'm used to it. It's okay.
Oh.
I'm nothing but a green screen.
That's not true.
Yeah. All right. Well, moving on. Let's jump into our recap for today, folks. Last we met on the 14th, or actually, last we met was the 13th evening of Village Gloam, but today's session starts on the 14th morning of Village Gloam, the Wild Shadow on Events Talk. Last we met, the Wayward Five recovered from the conflict at the southern spire of Queen Ayla. Huron treated the wounded soldiers while the remaining party members rested, except Sarathil, who engaged in a dangerous ritual to seek out the lost soul of Varys Moonbound, who the party had just defeated in combat. Dabbling with such magic summoned a psychopomp to intervene in Sarathil's meddling. This creature was later found to be a child of the Mother, referring to whatever entity controlled Athramenos. What we loosely understand to be the plane of dreams, nightmares, and memories, which has been alluded to be what makes up souls by your old friend Ashk. The creature, tall and cloaked with elven features, threatened to take back what is rightfully the Mother's. Of course, this referred to the magical diadem Sarathil wielded each day to cast Mind Blank on Scarlet and Curon now, to keep those who would dominate their minds at bay. Sarathil protested and denied all claims of theft. He discovered this item. He went on to question the creature about the fate of Varys' soul, and in addition, the fate of his own soul. It told him that some souls are lost between worlds, and must be collected and archived by the children of the Mother. Sarathil's soul will share this fate, as will Curon's. Though this fate is bleak, the soul will not be obliterated. In fact, this is done to ensure the soul, along with its memories, are not obliterated. Scarlet and Talray interrupted this conversation, but could not see the psychopomp, which quickly latched onto them to suss out their souls. Sarathil did what he could to stop it from latching onto Scarlet. The psychopomp discovered that the magic of the Cirrus that Scarlet wielded was in fact stolen magic from Athramenos. This escalated the situation, but in exchange for letting the party keep these magics for now, Sarathil offered his service in the afterlife to Athramenos for all eternity as a psychopomp, a child of the Mother. The creature agreed to the exchange and allowed Sarathil access to Varys' soul for the night. Sarathil's last question was for a name for when he meets this figure again in the afterlife, so he can rejoin them. But the creature expressed no identity, only a child of Athramenos. His choice weighed heavy on Sarathil's mind, but the party was able to now beseech Varys for answers regarding Queen Ayla's court. He drew the soul out and collected the party and asked it these questions. Or at least, they shared in asking the questions. The first was, where is Glomon, the little drake, the twilight god drake that Talray serves? The answer? Beneath the citadel of Theris Moor, hidden away in a constant ethereal state. How do we free him? Destroy those ethereal devices holding him in bondage. What is Ayla's biggest weakness? Her immortal age forces her to rely on her seers to connect to the earthly experience. She must concentrate intensely to keep from losing herself to her odd perspective on time. Something that Sarathil can relate to now. What are the weaknesses of the citadel, Theris Moor, the halls of the dead? The walls are weak due to age, but they hold deep and secret wards that are strong ancient magic. There is access to the throne room and citadel from the skies. What was Ayla like before the conflict? She was a representation of hope and the redemption for the Elysian people, a beacon of love. It was also discovered that Varys and her, in the words of Shannon in the pre-show, were a thing, as he called her his love. Huron finally asked what had happened to her to turn her into what she is now. And all Varys could say is that she never recovered from the Morrisir conflict and the death of Ilyuvania. It shattered her. With this information, a long discussion occurred about what to do next, with multiple ideas of how to make progress, but ultimately, you all discerned that it was proper to strike quickly, head north, infiltrate Theros Moor, and strike at Ayla, while the rest of their allies strike Sarathil to destroy the final spire. And we left off as you all began to start that journey in the morning to head north. It's also here that Sarathil discovered a remnant of his visitor. The cage that he used to hold Varys' soul had been melted and shifted into a loose amalgamed skull shape. He held on to this as a reminder of where he's heading. So, Wayward 5 or Wayward 6, however you want to count it. Not everyone has an official membership, I think. I think you got to get the card. Comes in the mail, and you all are on the road a lot, so you don't really get to go to your mailbox.
Kieran's actually got revoked, so
That's true.
He's not
that's
actually
true.
a member of the
No,
Wayward
no.
Five.
I held on to
It's
it
really,
for
I
you.
think it's the Kieran, I think it's the Wayward 2 right now. I think that the only people with card carrying members are Scarlet and Timber.
Yeah.
I guess
I think
Cal still has
Timber's-
his card back in Vermelsia.
I think Timber's rats moved into Wiswick's room in the estate, so they're all technically Wayward 5 members.
Yeah, I guess it's whoever is squatting in the Wayward home is considered the Wayward 5. So none of you are the Wayward 5. There's a family of rats that are the Wayward
And snuggle
48.
And Ash,
realize-
Ash is there. You know, he
Yeah.
just gets his. He just like eats cereal every day there, and he like goes off plane skipping or something.
I just imagine this big empty villa, and you just have Ash there every single day, living his lonely life with the rats and the snuggle. What are they called?
Snuggle babies.
Snuggle babies.
Yeah, snuggle babes.
Yeah,
You know, them snuggle boobs.
snuggle boobs.
Snuggle babies.
All right, but you all, I imagine you're making your moves. You're walking along the path, heading towards wherever you want to go next. I imagine, really, I guess. Do you guys have a map of Elysia?
Kieran.
Okay.
No,
Kieran's the
is
map.
the long and the short of it. No, we do not have a map of Elysia.
I can't get lost.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, well, the Outlander feat. I don't think that's. I think that's you can't get lost in places you've been to before. You.
I don't think I'm talking about the Outlander feat, but yeah.
Okay.
Still a ranger thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well. Yeah, because you guys got to the spire by the directions from the Talio, who told you to follow the river and then head north once you get to a certain point. And you'll get there. So yeah, I mean, you generally know that you need to head north. And if you are following the mountains, it's probably the easiest way to get there. You can also, ask for help from your other allies with the sending spell. But I guess that's kind of a good place to start. You have you've discussed scrying in on Thatcher and his meeting with Kinsley tomorrow. You have a day before that happens. You also have a day where you may want to reach out to your allies because you have changed the plans a bit. The original plan was to meet them just south of Novelly to make your next move. So generally, I guess, what do you want to do with this day? that you have before you have your next engagement, which is a scrying appointment.
Kieran, you can go first. I'll go.
Saw Kieran's hand first.
Yeah.
All right, so first Kieran will cast Sending to the Druid brothers. One of them, I don't even...
You're the only one that you've actually ever met is Ilgwyn.
Right.
Because Kieran never met the other brothers because they went there after you died, right? Or no, you died. No, you did meet them. You died. You died there. You met them, and then you died there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still, I think I would message Ilgwyn because he's the one that I interact with most, and I had sent to last time.
Cool.
So sending to him, just kind of gonna paraphrase, like, greeting Ilgwyn. I apologize, but we've had some change of plans. First, though, I would inquire how Talio's doing and whether his recovery is looking any better. We have decided, given some information we gleaned from Varys Moonbound, to strike straight at Ayla now. While it makes sense to destroy her other monolith, that's what she wants us to do, or thinks that we're going to do. So, in an attempt to subvert her expectations, we will strike directly at her. During this time, you can launch your own assault against the final monolith. I think that would be best, using whatever allies you gained from the mages to the north and any fellow dissenters you may know of along the way.
Huron. High or low?
Low.
Always low.
Always low. Gotta be consistent.
You would get a response. Oh, Talio is struggling. If he's been able to keep the wounds clean and unrotted, but his fever will not break and he has not woken. We will keep trying, but it is not looking good right now. I am sorry. If he awakes, we can try to reach you so you can speak to him. You may wish to, because he may not survive this. In regards to your new plans, I'm assuming there are still only 5 with you. Do you plan to assault the fortress if there is more? Forgive me if I think that there might be some challenges to that. I will not tend to know your strategy, but we do want to help if we can. Don't know how we can, but if there is a way, you can let us know.
Responding, Kieran says, if there's anything the party thinks of along the way, we'll reach out. But for now, a distraction of sorts against the final monolith, I think would be best to keep her eye away from her stronghold and focused on the last free city of excuse me and focused on the civic capital of Elysia.
Okay. If there is a place you travel north and stop at, and we know it, we can come to you temporarily. At least make plans in person. I will talk to Gideon and my brothers about if there are any northern settlements that we are familiar with that we can stride to meet you before we'd make any choices. Truthfully, it is probably more likely these wizards know of a place they can travel to and bring us to talk to you. I hesitate to ask for more from them, but it is something that can help you and help us talk to you more clearly. I suppose we can work with them further.
If I may, Ilgrim, we must utilize our allies, whoever they may be. And while I can tell you have no love for the mages, just know that they too fight for a free Elysia, if for different reasons than yourself. Try to play nice, and don't turn anyone into a woodland creature, please.
I tried. These wizards and their counter spells. Stay safe, Kuranis Celestana, and remember the great rhythm.
Alright, so with that, Kiran will send just Crescent Hot watch over you. End the sending. And then you know what I'm gonna do, Sean? Because I just talked about it. I'm gonna try for some divine intervention real quick.
Ooh, on behalf of Talio?
Am I that predictable?
It's just a logical thing I think that Kieran would do.
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay. High or low?
Low.
What is our percentage at now? Because you guys leveled up last time.
Right. So we would be at like 35.
I think it's 35,
I think.
yeah.
But I got a 95, so it doesn't go off.
Okay.
But I guess Kieran would, after that sending, kind of under his voice to himself go, Crescent Heart, I don't know if you're still have powers here with Ayla's hold, but if there's anything you can do for your servant Talio, he's been injured in your fight. He needs assistance, should you be able to give it. I ask this in your name.
And you're making these sort of like all of you, like anything you're doing right now, you're either doing it at like resting moments or while you're walking along the paths in the forest, heading north. Which, as a reminder to everyone, this is a completely unsettled territory. These are hinterlands. Like you're moving through dense forest and through patches where there may be glades or anything like that. You'll soon arrive in more of the sort of rolling plains of these areas, but for now you're still moving through these forests. And I imagine, Kieran, when you send this prayer out, you look up and you can see the corpse moon even through the canopy. And you utter these prayers out, and I imagine you look up to the skies, and there is just cold emptiness in the air as you just feel kind of a few raindrops on your face as clouds close over the Crescent Heart corpse moon.
Of course, I understand. Well, on to more pressing business. Sending to Bogdasha. And I think actually Kieran will pull Kaze aside and go, in light of our goals for tomorrow on scrying on the General and Thatcher, I thought it prudent to reach out to your old student, Bogdasha, whom we had sent off months ago to investigate the Valarians for us and potentially to see what she could find at Caer Dolan.
Yes. Can you contact her?
Yes, let
Get
me
an update.
let me see if I can sense her out in the world. It is weak. It is weak. Ah,
Do you
there
need the
she
back
is.
massage? Oh, okay.
Yes, if you wouldn't mind, actually. Ayla's resurrection.
Nails or no nails?
Oh, no nails, please. Even though I no longer bleed, I don't need the marks.
Thought you
And so
bled
Kieran casts Sending Plus to reach out, and he'll. Send
Before you do that, just a few logistical questions, because it was roughly 2 months ago that you asked them this. And I just want a reminder, Bogdasha was at the Sulk when you sent this to her, right? Because it was after you guys had... Because she's been at the Sulk, right? Or was she in
Yeah.
the Ghost of Ruination still?
No, I thought we
'Cause
sent
she-
her out.
Or did you send her
When-
somewhere else?
No, we sent her out very early to Care Dolan for... I don't remember.
Well, we
It-
discerned it before you got here in the pre-show, is that you guys had sent them out after you learned the term Valarian when you were casting Dream on Kinsley.
Yeah.
Which you may
Which
have sent her
was-
to do something before that. That's why I wanted to clarify. I'm not remembering if she'd been in waiting at the Sulk.
Yeah.
Because this was very early on in the campaign, or in season 2. This was like episode 15
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah, so only Valen was.
Valen was sent north to the Wood Elf.
Knows. Oh yeah,
Ramon.
so she would have been at the Sulk. She was at. So I'm looking at my notes from session 87. Valen had been in the Ruination,
Mhm.
with the Wild Elves and the researcher, whatever her name was, and Elspeth.
Yeah,
Or no,
'cause-
Elspeth got Valen permission to go back home.
Because Bogdasha was in Drock when you guys came back
Yes.
from the Ghost of
Yes.
Ruination, and then she went back to the Sulk. She used her recall spell to get back to the
Yes.
Sulk after you guys started heading into Honduras to go find Cal.
Yes.
Okay, so then she was in wait at the Sulk, and you sent her and Kaze's sister 2 months ago. You sent them to, or roughly 2 months ago, you sent them to Care Dolan to spy on Kinsley and to investigate
Yeah.
who the Valarians are.
And we did make a connection with Calra as well to be like, hey, like we know this this researcher. She has a spot that's just outside of town. You can use a safe house. And at this point, I think what's his name as well, Scarlet's old blacksmith master might be there too.
Senric.
Senric.
Yes, and we messaged Senric only a few sessions ago. Senric is at...
was with her, right?
He's with Calra in not Calra's estate, right outside of
Her-
Care Dolan, but in
lair.
her lair, which
Right,
is
right.
closer to actually to Gristrom than to
Okay.
Care Dolan.
Okay.
But they would have connected with her before she retreated there, because it would have taken them roughly a month to get to Care Dolan, which you would expect based on where the Sulk is. So they've been in Care Dolan, and as far as you can tell, just informing with how you're going to ask the questions,
Right.
Where they would have been, that you can presume. Took them a month to get there. For all intents and purposes, they've been there for a month. You're not sure, maybe they made movements elsewhere. But anything you'd ask, in your mind would presume it would be around events over the last month.
Okay. All right. So, cast Sending Plus to Bogdasha. Kieran goes, Dearest Bogdasha, student of the Sulk, of Dusk and Dawn, other preachy stuff about their religion. It's me, Kieran Hislistane. How are you? I know it has been some time since we last spoke, and I hope that your mission in Care Dolan goes well. Kaze and I had asked you to investigate the Valarians and see what you could learn about their connection with Kinsley. And it's been like 2 months now, so we're just kind of checking in. We've got some information of our own, but unfortunately haven't had time to really check in. So just let me know how you're doing. We appreciate all the good work you've done.
So it does connect. He is not dead. You would get a response. I mean, this is around, I imagine this is around midday. You know. Yes. Kiran, we expected to hear from you sooner. We have been here for 1 month. We hide in the shadows of the Drow's estate. She has not returned here in quite some time. We do not see the blacksmith anymore. It is quiet in these halls, except when Kinsley's servants come to investigate. But they cannot find servants of the Sulk. We have watched Kinsley's estate the best we can, those who go and come, and we have some information about the Valarians. All of them, except for a young girl, are dead. Murdered by an assassin. Or so we think, based on our observations of the Valarian estate in Cardolan. It was also held under the control of the servants of Thatcher. The butchers held Jonathan Valarian and his family and his father in kidnap, unbeknownst to anyone in the city, it seems. Until an assassin came and killed one of the butchers, in addition to Jonathan Valarian. The butchers had already killed his father. Quite viciously. One servant, one of the butchers, Amelie, led these groups. She murdered his father and boiled his skull into a cup for her wine. They trashed the estate. And when Thatcher was to arrive, from what we understand, before the night he arrived, an assassin came in, murdered Amelie, and then killed anyone we presume that saw them, which included Jonathan Valarian. And now there is only one Valarian left. 5-year-old girl. What the butchers wanted with the Valarians, we do not know. They are very difficult to catch, and even more difficult to get answers from. They have a slavish devotion to Thatcher. Luma thought it wise to track Thatcher after this event. He was in Gristrom quite some time until recently. He arrived back in Cardolan just the other day. But no one seems to know that but us. He stays in the Valarian estate. Kinsley has been much more difficult to track. His estate is very thoroughly protected. Magical wards, guards, but we've seen some of his comings and goings. He is primarily interested in the war to the south. And frequently he is called to court to, I presume, up-to-date the king on the war. But he has been called to the court less and less. Now, Luma and I do not have all the resources necessary to infiltrate a court of a king or to spy on their meetings. But we have identified those who attend such meetings. All the folks you would think of. Representative from the duchies of the rest of Quintarchy. There are some strange figures in the court. One particular figure that is new. He arrived truthfully, he arrived around the time that we arrived. Or sometime before, or a little bit after, we're not certain. It took us a while to settle. But he just goes by Bancroft. Young man, blonde of hair, but he has very quickly garnered the ear of King Henry, it seems. He is frequently at the keep in the palace. As frequently as Kinsley has not been to the castle. These days we need to be much more careful. Kinsley's servants are more frequently coming to this estate. We do not have a shelter within Cardolin. We will soon need to leave, lest we can find a hideout within the city. Of course, we could stay in the countryside. The Sulk is very good at finding allies amongst the lower folk. But Luma needs to go back to the Sulk soon. There are more questions about where she is and what purpose she serves in her travels right now. Yuzo is recalled her soon. But other than that, unless you have particular questions about these subjects, those are the most important things we have garnered.
When exactly did the assassination happen?
From what we understand, it was before we arrived, but not much before. It was probably around the same time we arrived, maybe a day before, a couple days before.
Okay, well, we appreciate all the work you've been doing, Bagdasha, and putting your life on the line like this. You serve the greater good well. We are privy to some information that Kinsley and Thatcher will be having a meeting on the morrow. Kaze, what time was the meeting? What time are they meeting? Do we know that?
I don't know a time.
He would have told you the exact time since he wanted you to be there.
Yeah.
So
I don't think I have written it down.
1 p.m.
And where was the location, Kaze? Where exactly was it supposed to be at?
I think it's in Kerdolan. I don't know where.
Well, Bogdasha, we are privy to this meeting between Kinsley and Thatcher happening at 1 p.m. on the morrow, somewhere in Kerdolan.
The Valarian estate is where.
At the Valarian estate, actually. We know exactly where it is. We're very smart and take good notes.
Yes.
I actually don't think I ever told you that, so don't worry.
I don't. Yeah. Yeah.
But if you could potentially learn anything about this meeting, we intend to scry upon it ourselves to view it. We can't be in there in person. We were invited, though. But we can't be there, so best we can do is watch.
Yes, of course. Beyond this espionage, is there any other tasks that Kaze or yourself need from me in service of your quest?
Should it come to this, should Thatcher and Kinsley rise to conflict, it may be an opportunity too good to pass up.
I am listening.
Both are skilled combatants, both powerful in their own right, but in conflict, they will inevitably weaken each other, and whoever emerges victorious might be blinded by their victory and be susceptible to a blade of the sulk.
If they are to come to physical violence, you wish for me to wait for an opportunity to take out the victor?
If possible. I do not mean to ask to put yourself in danger. But the matters that we see to up north are far more important than the squabbles of petty kingdoms and organizations such as Thatcher's.
I am a servant of the Dusk and Dawn and Kaze, and since his account of what you've done, if this will help protect everything, then I shall do it.
Blessings of the Crescent Heart and of the Dusk and Dawn upon you, Bogdasha.
Yes.
Thank you.
May the shadows protect you and the light reveal all truths. Juicy.
Kiran turns to Kaze and goes, "So, Bogdasha and your sister have infiltrated Kerdolan and have learned that all but one of the Valarians have been killed.
Do they know the location of the last Valarian?
In the estate, the Valarian estate in Kerdolan. It's currently held by the butchers of Thatcher.
So they had this last Valarian under their captured.
They're hostage, I assume.
Hostage.
However, shortly before they arrived, or about at the same time, an unknown assassin came in and killed
Amelie.
Amelie, the leader of the butchers there, but also Jonathan, right? The then patriarch, the recent patriarch for his father, had just been killed by Amelie, the head of the butchers, doing what their name implies, butchering folk. And who this assassin is, I'm not sure. You see Kieran's eyes quickly dart up to Scarlet, and he goes, "No, I don't think that lines up."
Did they give you a time frame of when that happened?
About a month ago.
About.
So, Thatcher has been to Gristrom recently, but has returned just the other day, I assume for this meeting. Kinsley, on the other hand, has been focused on the war to the south and to controlling his puppet king. However, recently, a new actor has entered the stage. A Bancroft?
Bancroft.
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 A Bancroft has had the king's ear. Who this individual is, Bogdasha was not aware. I don't think we've ever encountered anyone of this name.
No. Shall we look into it? Shall I send it?
For now, we should focus on our known enemies, Thatcher and Kinsley.
Okay.
I also asked Bogdasha, and he says, kind of pulling Kaze close, and please, let's keep this between us. Should the meeting turn sour, and the two come to blows, I asked Bogdasha to finish whatever job was started.
Oh, okay. Timber's like very uneasy with that. Look, Bogdasha's she's very skilled, but I'm a little wary of putting her in that sort of danger, knowing the threat level of Kinsley. And I
asked
understand.
her to
She
be
will
sure.
says
Yes.
Now,
hope that she will not throw her life away.
Yeah, something that she could do that would maybe be beneficial and less risky. Maybe she can be the one to make the meeting go sour. Maybe she can act as a side of either Kinsley or Thatcher. They're both going to be on edge. Hand on the sword when they're meeting. If she does something to, provoke from the background, make noise. Oh, who's that? Oh, and then throw a rock at somebody's back, somebody's head, and oh, it's one of your men. No, it's one of my men. You know the deal. And then
yes, of course, there's always the unforeseen consequence that could better unite the two. Remind them that they have a common enemy in us, and all the free folk of the world that will rise against them in holy arms for my Excuse me. I stumbled a little there.
I'm sorry?
While I see your point, I do not wish to put Bogdasha in any greater risk than she's already at. To fight a weakened opponent is better to try to instigate between two clever, resourceful enemies. But if you wish it, I can pass the message along. She is your student, and you know these kind of dealings better than me.
Yes, it was just an idea. That's all.
Okay.
She can assess the situation and decide from there.
I'm sure she'll do what is best.
And what did she say about Luma?
Ah, yes, your sister is being recalled to the sulk by whoever's in charge. I forget his name now. They question her motives and what exactly it is she's doing to further Sulk's goals in Kerdolan.
The assassin could have been her, maybe?
No, she was with Bogdasha. She would have told Bogdasha about this. I fear our assassin is a current unknown, though I have my suspicions it's someone in the Crimson Court, but, you know, that's just piecing random things together.
This is neither a confirmation or a denial, but I would say that the timeline of the date given to you, the date range, is before you are reunited with Scarlet.
Oh, okay, it is.
Yeah, I would say that you can, at the very least, whatever the
Right.
timeline is, because I do not know what the timeline is. Based on, I'd have to go back and look at sessions and whatnot, and this is neither a confirmation nor a denial, but it is before you reunited with Scarlet.
Got it.
And then Kieran will add, and remember... Wait, no, never mind. That has nothing to do with anything. Yes, so my assumption, Crimson Court, they're always coming up and being nasty little buggers, and I believe this would have happened before Scarlet came for us in Vermelsia. And with the Sirius's power, she could kind of appear wherever she wants, so easy enough for Blood Raven. To do what she needs to do. But even if we could ask her that, I don't know if Scarlet can access those memories and what kind of trauma that would put her through, so...
Right.
Or how many answers that will really give us. We can confirm who killed them and at least have one less unknown, but at this point it doesn't really matter who the assassin is. Only that they're working against Kinsley and Thatcher, which makes sense that it would be the Crimson Court, because unless it's, you know, the Harbinger or something showed up, it was just
Yes,
like, nah.
yes. No. Okay. Do we tell her? Or maybe we'd leave that part down. Just to...
We'll leave it out for now, and should it come up, we'll be like, oh, yeah, we knew, but we're trying to protect you, because that's what friends do. Right? They protect someone else, and then it always ends up backfiring in their place in the old stories that I used to read, but I will have learned nothing from this. Anyways.
If Sarathil can access her memories as Blood Raven, maybe? Mate, I don't know what he can do.
Do any of us really know what that wizard can do?
No idea. I usually just ask if he could do something, and he's like, yeah, sure, I can make a bunny appear. And...
Maybe we'll ask him then, should it become pertinent. But for now, I think that's about everything that we need to cover.
I agree. Thank you, Kieran.
Thank you.
Yeah, he can cast Detect Thoughts with the diadem.
I didn't know that.
There's more. The diadem is not just a mind blank machine.
Oh, I knew it did
No,
more.
I know. No, I did.
More, I
No,
just-
you should know that. I did detect thoughts when Ekbargoth first joined the party.
That's right.
That's right, he did. Truthfully, they can probably... there's things that they probably just assume you've been doing with your own spellbook that has been with the diadem.
Don't give away.
Probably.
Don't give away my sham.
While they've been having a conversation, may I please have a quick one with Sarathil? And
Of
actually,
course.
Kieran, I'm going to pull you in at some point too, but not yet.
Real quick, though, before we do that, Kieran, did you want to send another sending to Bogdash at all? Or was everything clear there?
Nah, I think I'm good. I don't
Stay
want
the
to-
course? Cool.
Yeah, I'd rather she only put herself in danger should it really give us a good reward.
An advantage, yeah. Yeah, and she's so I'm gonna actually ask before we switch over to Shannon or Scarlet and Sarathil. I would like Scarlet and Timber to give me D100 rolls and call your highest or low.
I'm going high too.
Aldo had detect thoughts too.
This isn't about Naldo.
59 from
Just
Timber.
saying.
41.
59.
Okay. Just checking.
Why?
You'll find out.
Why? I have to know.
And then one last D100 roll from Curon, high or low.
Low. 74.
Okay.
We suck these.
I'm telling you, the moment I say high, it's gonna roll low. So I gotta stick to my guns.
I know. You're committed.
It's so funny because it's like that's not how ranges work. But okay, so we got two failures, we'll call them, from Steph and Shannon, and one success from Timber. Cool, perfect.
For what?
The end times, they're coming.
Ah.
We didn't miss that meeting, did we?
No, it's tomorrow.
No, it's tomorrow.
Okay, that's what I thought. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
No.
Some things I don't want to leave up to my own decision making. You know, so that it's impartial with how people
So
and NPCs.
Yeah, well, you know
behave.
what? I feel the same way. Sean, high or low? Roll a D100 for me.
Oh no!
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I'm doing it. Fuck you. Hi.
Sarathil is moody.
The only time
Yeah.
the only time a D100's worked is when you fucking ripped my arm off. It was like if I roll a 20 or less, and it was a fucking 11.
Hey, remember that time I rolled the D100 and it was a fucking 1?
Yeah.
Which I thought was literally impossible.
Okay. All right. So I imagine this is just sort of like everyone's still pretty exhausted. I mean, Timber literally is pretty exhausted. Still has 2 exhaustion points. So like everyone's kind of just keeping to themselves as you're traveling, kind of just a day to travel north and not really think too much other than in the collectively we're just traveling and you're having these little side conversations. It does start raining through the half day and it does get quite cold. So you all might be wrapping yourselves up in your winter attire. But it's going to be, this is the second half of this day is going to be pretty miserable is what I mean, basically. Because Elysia is a very cold place. It does not actually rain that often here. So this is a very icy, slushy rain where, you know, it's the kind of rain where icicles will start forming on your face the longer you're in it.
Not mine.
Beards will start to get all frozen. Your hair will start to freeze. It's incredibly uncomfortable.
So for the 2 undead in the party.
Yeah,
Doing just fine.
yeah. Half
Well,
the
I was
party
gonna
is doing just fine, probably.
I was gonna
but-
say we don't feel it, but there's literally no blood flowing through us, so our bodies are literally freezing,
Mhm.
solid. So
Stiff.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
definitely going to you need to be moving around a bit. Like you might need to
Okay.
take a break here and there. You might need Scarlet to warm you up because if you're not careful and you're not attentive, you'll look and suddenly your arm is frozen solid. And if you move it, you could potentially shatter it.
I got you.
well, I've got armor.
Like some
on,
frostbite.
That doesn't seem like it's gonna help at all. It just makes it worse.
But yeah, that's just to give you a little hint of how you're probably feeling right now, even if you're not having tense conversations. But at a certain point, I imagine when you're stopping to thaw Sarathil, you can come and have a conversation.
Yes. As you know, got my produce flame up and just kind of like holding it close.
Never felt anything like this before.
uncomfortable, isn't it? Oh, the warmth? This must be...
No, I meant the chill. I mean, this far north, I didn't realize that. I mean, it makes sense. Giving up your vitality will have some side effects.
Well, as long as we pay attention to it, you'll be fine. I actually wanted to ask you, so since tomorrow is the meeting with my brother and Kinsley.
Oh
we're going to
my.
be
That's right.
watching it.
Yeah. I feel like the days have passed us by. I completely have forgotten.
I almost did. I wondered if, and we can pull Kieran in on this as well, because I don't want to do it unsafely, but I thought I might check in with him and allow him to access my mind while we sleep tonight, so I can see how he's doing.
Wait, so hold on. Access your mind. You sure you want to take that risk?
Well, that's why we would pull Kieran in, potentially. I need to talk to him. It's going to be dangerous tomorrow. I just want to see where his head's at.
Well, we're like midday at this point, right? Like we're...
And that's
Yes,
another
yeah.
question I had, Sean.
I
is
actually
like,
just also thought of something that needs to now be taken care of. Sarathil has to cast Mind Blank twice a day now.
Correct.
Sarathil,
Yeah.
I'm going to have to start enforcing your 1d4 rolls in the morning for restoring your charges.
Yep. No, that's fine. So
Okay.
granted, well, actually, no, that's true, because the last time I rolled a 2 last time, so I got 2 back. So this morning I'll have to cast 2.
So the reason I'm bringing this up is that, like, your charges don't go away, though. Like, so say you have 2 charges left in the evening, you don't lose those and then have to roll a d4. The d4 is just whatever's added to it. So you can do this securely so that you never don't have 2 spots. I'm just saying you're going to need to keep track of that. I don't need to ask you every morning. You just need to keep track of your economy.
No, that's what I'm saying, though, is that the last time when I cast Mind Blank on Kieran,
Mm-hmm.
I expended the last charge, and I did the 1d20 for Feeble Mind. But then when I did my 1d4, I rolled a 2, so that gave me 2 back.
So that would have been for today.
Yes, exactly. So
tomorrow morning is our first time where we'll have to roll for a risk that you don't Mind Blank one of them. Because you got
because he has none left today.
So you used your last. So you used your last one on the fight. So you had none, and you had to re-roll to get your charges back. You had 2 for today. I assumed you cast Mind Blank on both of them in the morning,
yes.
So you have. So then I actually need you to roll me a d20. Actually.
Yes. No. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's yes. You are correct.
Have we been doing it every in the morning, first thing in the morning? So
Yeah.
It wears off in the morning.
Yeah, you'd want to do it at a time where it wears off the same time every day. So I'd actually probably recommend that you guys always do it at noon.
So I rolled an 11.
If you sleep in for some reason, you don't lose it.
Then
right. So I rolled an 11. So no Feeble Mind.
So you might actually be coming to him to get your Mind Blank refreshed also.
Well, and then that would... Okay, so then that I was going to ask, why don't we wait a moment before we do it so that I can take a nap and talk to Thatcher?
So before that happens, I actually am going to ask for that that D4 roll now to see how many you have for today.
You want the D4 roll now?
Yes. Because this is around the time that I'd say you'd be technically making the D4 roll.
2.
Okay. So you have enough for today. You will end up having to make that. So this is actually probably a good time to pull Kieran in, because you guys can be getting your dose right now.
I don't like that.
Because I'm sorry, I just realized because I was going back in to reread it.
Wait, no, I just...
No, so
No,
Mike's saying that he already rolled for his charges on today.
But he hasn't used them yet.
Yeah.
So we're coming back. We're coming to get it refreshed.
Right.
Oh, okay. Yes, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, my brain. It's tomorrow morning. You'll roll the d4 again. So that
Yeah.
d4 doesn't.
Okay, so we'll not count that d4.
Won't count
I rolled
that
the
D4.
d20. I'll the d20 counted because I rolled
D20
my
counted.
last charge.
Yep. Okay, we're
But
up to
I
date
can't.
now on the
Yeah,
count.
I can't do anything else with my diadem. It is completely exhausted until we long rest tonight.
Yes. So hopefully tomorrow, if you get a D4, you can now start to kind of keep the accounting up, so
Yes.
you never have to worry about it.
Yeah, I will
Okay, cool.
do that.
I just wanted to double check in all of that because I'm realizing now that there is a much bigger risk there than there was before. Because normally you'd always have at least one slot
Yes.
to give the mind blink on Scarlet, but now there's a chance that there's a situation where you can't do both of them until you get the extra spare ones back and can start rationing.
Yes, exactly. And so until I start rolling more than twos.
Yeah.
So the day I roll a 1, we're in big
So-
trouble.
So now we're all on the same
Yeah.
page of how we'll move forward with that. Perfect.
Well, and so then that is going to play into before he does it,
Mhm.
I can go to sleep, or I can cast sending to Thatcher, say, call me. I'd go take a nap, and then we'd have a conversation, and then you could
Okay.
cast it.
So then you should probably bring Curon into this
Yes.
conversation and
Yes.
Timber
yes.
as well, since he's gonna have
Yes.
to do the dream.
No, Thatcher can do the dream.
Oh, it's Thatcher's dream. That's right. Thatcher dreams on you. Yeah.
Thatcher dream.
It's yeah. Okay. Cool. All
So-
right. So then you want to at least bring Curon into this, which
I
he'd
want
be
Curon.
already be coming up
Curon.
to get his dose of mind blank.
Oh,
Sorry
good.
about that that problem solving there, but I just wanted to make sure we're all on the
It's
same page with
important.
the-
It's
the
very
diadem.
important.
No, it is. No, absolutely. High risk, high reward. We have Kieran back.
Who?
How you doing over there, Rick?
This is very tedious, walking through these woods. I've never seen so much of this color before. What do you mortals call it? White? Disgusting.
Go on.
Yes.
I was just talking to Sarathil, and I was wondering, are you able to provide a space where I can talk to my brother?
Oh,
Ahead of
You
tomorrow's
mean-
meeting. Without
Well-
mind blank.
couldn't you simply cast sending to him?
I want to have a longer conversation on that.
Kieran kind of looks around where they are. Where are we, Sean? What's the setting? What's the scene?
The setting is dense forest, very old growth hinterlands, rock, very like hilly, where you kind of can't see the horizon at all. There are those little tiny canopy gaps up above where most of the light is coming through, and most of it's coming from the corpse moon, and the twilight sky. So you're, as far as like, you're in the middle of nowhere, basically.
Well, I guess I don't need to preserve my spells. I don't imagine Ayla will be able to find us out here given your destruction of the monolith. Yes, I can do that.
Do you mind? Because it sounds like you might mind.
Your plan is predicated on two things. One, that Thatcher will do as you ask and
He will.
contact you in your dreams.
He will. He did last time.
And two, that he doesn't say anything to upset our current plans. Though, any information is good information. I just ask that you share whatever he tells you with us. I have sent Kaze's student, Bogdasha. We had her spying in Kerdal, and I asked her to see if she can phone in to the meeting tomorrow as well, just in case we needed someone on the inside. But don't let him know that. Oh, I shouldn't have told you that first. By the stars. Forget you heard that.
All right.
Sarathil, do you have any magic that might make her forget what I just said to her?
I'm not going to say anything, Kieran.
It's not
about
you saying something, it's about him probing into your
I
mind.
cast Gift of Gab.
What? Doesn't that just give you advantage on deception checks?
No,
No,
it doesn't it take back what you said?
It takes back the last 6 seconds of what you said.
Do you
Well,
have Gift of
you're-
Gab?
Not
I have
part
a
of
charge
this
of it.
conversation.
Damn
Wait,
it!
part of
really?
this conversation, I would be
Yeah, he's not
about
there.
it, but you're
Yeah,
specifically. I recommended you be part of this conversation, but they said no.
You just did.
I don't think we said no.
You
I
you
didn't say
said we
anything.
don't need him.
That's you actually
Thatcher's
exactly
gonna
said
say
that.
cast.
Yeah.
We don't need
Yes,
it. We don't need it. Thatcher
Shannon
casts
said
the
that
dream.
specifically.
Yeah.
I
So
said
I'm
it's
laying-
Thatcher's dream.
I'm laying down by a tree,
Yeah.
120 feet away, looking up at the birds.
Yeah, Timber can barely breathe right now, so he's.
Yeah.
If he was part of this conversation, I would absolutely be about that because that's an awesome spell that rarely gets a chance to be used. But unfortunately, no.
Try really hard, Scarlet, to forget you heard me say that.
I don't have anything to make her forget, unfortunately.
I'll focus on other things.
Alright,
So is
I
it
can.
all right with you?
Yes, I can cast a Temple of Iluvania to provide you a sanctuary to perform this. Let's hope my magic doesn't alert anyone watching. And Kieran sits down and begins to cast Temple of the Gods, which does have an hour casting time.
Or we're camping in for the night.
I mean, it's noon. So
Yeah, this would be happening.
taking a nap.
Because it's you need to re-up the mind blank after this. So I imagine you. Well, I guess you could stop.
Oh, so this is
Stay.
just a short rest. I'll wait till our long rest. Well, I guess it technically the mind blank to.
Mind Blank is up. We need to be re-blanked.
Mhm.
During
I
the
wanna do it
time,
first.
Scarlet wants to allow. Wait, you can't
Well-
get dreamed if you're in the Temple of the Gods.
I can't. Oh
No,
Did we
because
try
it
that
blocks
already?
out all No, I know because it blocks all divination spells, and dream is a divination spell.
Shit. Why
That's
did
true.
We only put it up
We put
because
you
until it
in
was
there
being
because
there
you were
after
being
the fact.
controlled.
Yeah, it wasn't during.
Well, I guess we could have it up just in case.
Well, there's no safe way then to do this other than like I guess you can. There's no safe way to do this.
No. I
I
can't.
mean,
I can't
we
forcibly.
take the risk. We take the risk, and then maybe the new guy can restrain you. He seems rather strong, right? Yes, finally speaking to me, cleric. Yes,
could-
I was simply saying that maybe if something should happen, you're strong enough, right? And I could handle the hounds of hell, please. This little bird here.
The only
That's
thing
nice.
that I could think of to recommend is that you put Scarlet in the manacles
Yeah,
while she
that was
does
going to
it.
be my suggestion.
Mundy
Wait.
hears all this planning and looks back at the party, but Talray's not having any of it. He's just still sitting on his back.
Wait, so you want me to
completely
take-
ignoring what's going on?
You want me to take down mind blank?
No, not put it back up. Mind blank's already on.
It's
Okay.
about to go out. It's
It's
about to end,
go out.
basically.
I don't want you to.
In the middle of the day, not the morning.
Yeah, because
I
we
imagine. I
retroactively.
mean, it's up to you guys. Like, I don't, whenever you want to have done this, but I imagine you would have. It would be easier or more secure to have it be like later in the morning, just in case there's a reason why you
slept in.
don't wake up in time to do it.
Well, I
Which,
guess that's
granted,
fair.
granted, like I know you only sleep for 4 hours, so you probably would be able to do it regardless. of
But
the
granted,
morning.
she doesn't. So okay, that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Also, to make it a bit more viable for you guys to do this right now. As opposed to you'd have to wait until like tomorrow morning to do it. Because Mind Blink would already be up on her. Or we could retcon that you didn't say any of that stuff about Book Dash and you did it in the morning. That's up to you guys. I'm fine with whatever.
No, we can have it be later in the morning. I think that's reasonable.
Okay. So how do you want to do this? And do you still want to do this?
I do. I want to talk to him. I want to see him.
Are the rest of you willing to do this?
Kaze, can we borrow those manacles?
What? Oh.
And Demon, I'm sorry, what was your name? It's Ekbarl Goth, Seneschal of Ika. Don't forget it. Yes. If you don't mind being prepared, we're gonna do something, something old friends do. As we slap the manacles on.
Wait. All, please. We just think about this a little more. Scarlet, I realize that you desperately want to talk to your brother, but do you really want to take this risk? The last time we tried something like this,
what happened the last time.
you nearly ran away, escaped us. You attacked us. Even if you are connected with your brother, don't you think there's a chance that the Cirrus would immediately grab hold of you? She could twist the words of whatever is happening, whatever you're saying to her, and vice versa. We can't trust, and I don't mean to be offensive, your mind when it is not secured by the spell.
Just like you did with Kieran, can't you just cast it when you notice something's wrong? Wouldn't that force her out? I need to see him, Sarathil. Especially before he goes into a meeting with someone as dangerous as Kinsley, and it might be... I don't finish that sentence.
I might argue Thatcher is the more dangerous individual here.
Then all the more reason for me to talk to him. Or family.
There, though, look. Just be silent. Look to Kieran. Then Timber. Talray, if he's there. Just be like... I'm giving my 2 cents. If no one else objects and thinks that we can protect you, I won't stand in your way.
When Sarathil looks at Talray, he perceives that he's being watched and turns around briefly to see if somebody actually was talking about him, and then realizes that the moment had passed, sulks and turns back the other way.
Timber, you would see Sarathil look to you from that conversation for a moment, even though you're not part of it.
Yeah, well, I'm far away though, right?
Yeah, I'm just saying if you wanted to come over, you can at this point.
Oh, okay.
Well, I called him over for the manacles. I was like,
oh, that's true. You did call him over for the manacles. So you would be coming over as Sarathil looks at you with the manacles. You can assume if Kieran's asking you for manacles and Scarlet's sitting there, that's something fishy's going on with the Cirrus in the brain.
What are you guys doing? Oh. Okay.
Oh.
Scarlet wishes to speak to a brother.
Scarlet, can't you just send him a message?
I want to see him. It might be the last time I get to. Right?
Kieran shares a look with Kaze and kind of goes, she has a point. This could be dangerous, whatever goes down tomorrow.
It's true.
But don't let him know. Well, I guess he knows. Never mind. Just don't mention what I said.
All right. Where are we? Should we tie the manacles somewhere else as well?
Akbar Algoth will step forward and goes, "No, I think I can manage.
Does it have to be him?
He's the strongest and probably the most capable of us all at the moment."
I agree. Yeah.
Talray looks back at them with a scouring look and then looks away again.
It's so funny because Talray is isolating himself. Like he could walk over right now, but
Yeah.
he's spiteful.
Yeah.
Well, he's the one that was like, we need to plan together more and be more of a group. You're
Exactly like that.
isolating yourself.
Honestly, you know, he feels like he's already been isolated because he wasn't invited earlier on, but anybody can just walk in. He's waiting for an invitation because he feels like
When
he
has that ever
deserves one.
stopped you?
Yeah, but
He's
that's
just being
so
stupid.
Talray though to be like I'm gonna wait till they ask me to come over,
Yeah.
and especially once they ask Timber to come over and Ekbargoth.
I'm sorry, wait, Talray, what's your strength score? Between the two of you could probably hold her down.
Yeah.
Should it come
Your
to that.
neck!
Arm wrestle. Arm wrestle right now. We need to figure this out.
If it's all the same to you, I'd rather just be attached to a tree or something.
Okay, which tree do you want?
I
There's
don't
a nice pine over
there's-
there. There's an oak.
Pine is weak. Tired to the oak. It's much stronger, sturdier wood.
Wait, no. You can't trust the strike that when the Sirius is involved. If we want to do this smart, Scarlet, assume the position you want to get into sleep.
Jesus.
Attach one manacle to her wrist and the other to her ankle.
That's
It's an
amazing
interesting
idea.
actually.
That is a great idea. I love it. It's happening.
I'm going to sit by the tree and then I'll do that. And I'm going to sit so it doesn't look ridiculous. Sit like this.
And then I'm gonna tie a rope in between the loop that is the arm and to the tree.
And then Ekbargoth saunters over and like crouches down next to her, arms on his knees, and just kind of looks her up and down and goes, "Don't worry, I have something good. Whatever it is everyone's worried about is about to happens."
Talray walks over, seeing that they just decide to tie up Scarlet, and it's like, I'm not gonna. I mean, I missed the whole conversation. I'm just gonna roll with whatever's happening here. But let's make it quick, folks.
Yes, it's some kind of
I need you all to
fuckery.
back up.
Because you still need to fall asleep.
I know. And I need you all to go away, please.
Well, someone's got to stay nearby to click the manacles.
Oh, I already clicked
What?
them.
No, you can't click them until after she casts Sending.
Oh,
Right.
Right. Yeah.
Ekbargoth is standing the guard. Kieran kind of wanders off and
Nope, Talray pulls Curon away and asks him to explain what the fuck is happening.
Well, you see, Scarlet, blah blah blah, brother, blah blah blah, wants to talk to him, blah blah blah. He might die tomorrow.
Did you mention the part about Bogdasha?
No,
Okay.
probably would have skipped over that.
So, does anyone have any like sleepy time tea to help Scarlet out? Because it is the middle of the day.
I can.
can you
I'm gonna walk around, get some
Ekbargoth.
herbs.
I'm gonna
and
say,
just be like,
yeah, you could definitely do that. I'm just gonna say we're not gonna roll for anything. Like you can definitely get some kind of something to sedate her.
Yeah, I also get some for myself as well.
Okay, you have 2 doses of sedatives, of sedative tea. Scarlet, you might be a little foggy when you enter into the dream.
I need to send to Thatcher first.
Yes, you do need to do that first.
So I'll do that, and it's super quick. Won't even be 25 words. Just like, I need to see you. Come visit me.
Okay. No response.
You didn't answer me last time either.
Hey, call me.
Maybe.
You up?
Hey, you up? I'm brewing the potion, you know, a little pot. And I'm like, all right, Scarlet, when you're ready, this should be good. Let me just give it a nice little. Oh, yeah, that's going to work. Okay, it's going
Real quick rush to your head.
And yeah, and then Timber's gonna pass out right there.
Seeing her go to sleep, Ekwaralgoth reaches a hand over and puts on the manacles.
It is kind of like you see like this weird bond that goes from her. Like you see the ethereal chains. You just see them when they link and then they disappear from her wrist to her ankle. It'd be real awkward if she tries to stand up at all. It's gonna be pretty messed up.
So she's sleeping like a moon.
Oh,
Yeah.
Like the crescent heart.
Both of my legs are up like this, so it doesn't look weird.
Oh, that works. Shannon, I need Scarlet to give me a wisdom saving throw. What'd you get?
11.
Okay. For now, you do not experience an infiltration of your mind from the Cirrus. For now.
For now.
Being generous.
You feel yourself fading away into a fog. It's not a sleep, because you would probably have a really hard time falling asleep on your own since it's noon and you had a long sleep the night before. So you sort of look up at your friends as your eyes get blurry and they start to double before you kind of have these like waking dreams as you're falling asleep, unconscious. You've ever experienced that where you are half awake and half asleep and you are dreaming for a couple seconds and then you wake up? That's sort of this on and off experience you're having where you're seeing strange encounters, sort of just fragments of dreams about everyone around you, situation at hand, nightmares even every now and then of the court before you fall into complete unconsciousness. And then you awake. In the middle, as dreams often are. You're looking down and there's a cup of wine in your hand. It's not a cup, though. It's the skull of Jonathan Valerian's father.
Ooh.
With blood red wine in it. You're sitting in the throne of the Crimson King. In the Crimson Court. Raging fire in the middle. As you can see, Thatcher stands with one boot up on the railing of the fire pit, staring inside. The fire, of course, is burning the corpses of the Crimson Court.
What does he look like? Is he disguised or does he look like me?
He looks like you. He's far past disguises with you.
Okay. Was this really necessary?
Oop. I'm picking. There we go. That's the. Say that again.
Looking at the skull and then looking at him. Was this really necessary? I thought we were past all this.
He keeps his back to you and doesn't respond. You're in that circular chamber. You're very familiar. The torn crimson banners and curtains. Like everything looks as trashed as it was when he killed the Crimson King. What do you do?
I put the skull down and go stand next to him at the fire.
As you stand up, you trip over something on the floor. You look down, you see there are corpses on the floor leading up to him. Or not leading up to him, but really around the throne you sit on. You see all of them have slit throats. You see Amelie. You see Jonathan Valarian. You see the unnamed cook. You see the other exiles that you killed. The young girl fleeing the Crimson Court. The half-orc monk who warned you in your dreams that one time. Warned you of the Cirrus. You see the big, burly man. You recall all of them murdering her at her campfire, infiltrating the half-orcs' hideout, the intense fight that occurred, sneaking through the Valarian manor, slicing through Amelie's throat, even as she recognized you, Rowan. Killing Jonathan Valarian. In one moment he was thanking you for saving him, and the next moment begging for his life.
Your point has been very clearly made. Look at me.
He turns around. He has his own cup of wine in a normal glass. And he smiles at you and smirks. And he looks as if he didn't know you were there in that moment. Oh. I didn't hear you coming in. I'm sorry about that. I didn't clean up before you came.
I don't want to talk to this version of you. I didn't come for this version of you.
I'm sorry, it's just so tempting whenever I'm in that head of yours to see these things. I don't think you remember, because I couldn't find it in there, but I saw you that night. You looked ferocious, covered in that ichor. Those pale eyes. I guess it was her, really. Oh, is she coming? Any second now, right? Right? She's gonna come a knocking. I'd like to talk to her.
I'd like to talk to you, Reese, not Thatcher.
Oh, I thought you couldn't talk to me. I thought you couldn't make it.
I can't make it, but I wanted to see you before it happened. I'm going to be watching.
Oh. An audience.
I wanted to see you.
How many of
Really?
you are going to be watching?
Just me,
Really?
really.
Okay, Rowan, I trust you. What did you want to talk about?
I'm staring at him, waiting for him to drop the act.
It's staring at me. I don't know what that means. I can't.
You know
Well,
exactly what it means.
I guess I can't read your mind, but
So then read it. Drop the act.
Shannon, what do you want to ask him? What does Scarlett actually want to ask him? Because he is reading your mind right now.
Are you ready for this? Do you know that you might die tomorrow?
So without you, you don't actually say that. He just infers through piercing your mind that those are the things you want to know. You're concerned for my safety.
Of course I am.
Well, I told you, this is a deal I have already arranged with Kinsley. There should be no reason for funny business. But I am a professional. So I know. I'm always prepared to die, Rowan. I don't think Kinsley
I'm
is who
ready for you.
will kill me.
What do you mean? Who else could possibly do it?
Well, many people, everyone, anywhere, at all times. But tomorrow, I don't think Kinsley will be the one to kill me. I don't think I will die tomorrow.
Reese, I wanted to see you because it might be the last time I get to see you. Although based on this entire interaction, I'd much prefer to remember you the way we were at our last conversation. Because you're being so difficult right now.
Well, I'd prefer if you were the way you were last time too. Walked in here very demanding. I understand I antagonized you. It's the territory, I suppose.
Then let's start over. I uncross my arms and kind of reach for his hand.
Doesn't reach back, but you can grab it.
Oh yeah.
I told you last time, Scarlet. And I'll call you Scarlet now if you want the real me.
No. No. The real you would call me Rowan. I want the real you.
You're misinterpreting our last conversation then. If you recall, Reese and Rowan are dead.
They're not dead, they're just gone.
I'm sorry, sister, but these are reminders to you. These are not antagonisms just because I like to play, although I do. They are reminders of the way you have killed Rowan. I know who Amelie is. Just as I knew who Silas was.
Then you've killed Reese as much as I've killed Rowan.
Just
not
as
alone
I
in
know
this.
who Hugo is, Lily, Liam. I can provide them a real future. Not what you tried to provide them.
I gave them everything
Well, you've killed two of them.
because of you.
I don't see how that is
You
remotely
slit
true.
Silas's throat.
Because
slit
you wouldn't make a
Silas's
choice. And it's pretty clear and cut that you slit Amelie's throat. Right? Okay. Let's get to the chase. Let's cut to it. There's so much we can do together, Scarlet. But as I've told you, I need you to let go. Yeah, I see. You understand. But what I'm going to say to you now, in lieu or in light of what is going to happen tomorrow, is that it is beginning. It starts tomorrow. In the wagon, the chariot, the cart will be moving. And there may only be a short amount of time for you to jump on. It starts tomorrow. Making them pay. Do you understand? Truthfully, Scarlet, I am touched by your outrage. Thank you.
Never stopped thinking about you. Can you read that, at least? Can you always see that you were in the back of my mind? Always?
Well, these days, yes. Right now, certainly. But, you understand the extent to which I have experienced your memories. Both way back.
I wish you would grant me the same sort of access to yours.
I'm afraid you don't have the ability. I'm afraid my testament would likely utter you a puddle. I would not wish that on your mind.
My mind is already... It's already fucked. What's a little more?
It's not a little more, Scarlet. It is beyond that. How the Sirius has already weakened your mind, I don't think you could handle him as well. Give me a wisdom saving throw.
Of course. That's it's an 8.
Okay.
I'm not asking you to...
Mid-sentence, you feel that presence boiling in the back of your head. It causes you pause, where you almost like suck in air, like you're about to choke. Oh, there she is. Let her in. I want to talk to that creature.
No, you don't.
Oh, I do. I want to see into that mind. Let her in, Scarlet.
No, she'll take you too.
Your eyes go white as you hear that voice in your head. Daughter, I welcome you home. Outside, Scarlet has been calm, maybe even snoring a little bit, given her upright seated position.
Mouth wide open.
But who is watching her? Okay.
There we all are.
I imagine some of you, once she's asleep, anyone with deep concerns would stick around.
Before you elaborate on what's going to happen,
Sure.
Since this is where her mind blank ended, and where I recast... Well, actually, I guess I don't know if I recast, but this is the point at which it should be recast soon.
Correct.
Mind blank. I will roll my d4 to see how many charges I get back.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's a good call. Add some tension.
Thank God. Okay.
Woo!
Still 2.
That
Okay,
was the
so-
face that was like, oh God, it's a 1.
I thought you were
Yeah,
going to say one.
That was
I'll
2.
take a 2. I'll take a 2. So, during this moment at the burnout, I will use one of those charges to mind blank cure on again. So I'll have 1 left. Just mentioning that, go ahead and continue what's happening.
Okay. Ekbralgoth and anyone watching her would just see you've watched her enough when she's in this case, so you do see that first twitch. It is usually indicative of, I leave it to you to decide if you would have an overwhelming abundance of caution and see a twitch and immediately activate things. But it is a potential sign that something is happening. So what would you all like to do? Because if you decide to...
Just studying her carefully, and he starts to see the twitch, and he's like...
A little low.
Yeah, Steph, your volume got low.
Upon seeing the twitch, Ekbralgoth, it goes, No, I may be mistaken in this, but that looks like an odd twitch to me. Is this a sign that we're looking for?
Just be at the ready. You don't want to wake her until she's finished with her conversation.
So Ekbralgoth gets to his feet. He's got his hand on his Zweihander and another hand out, pointed at Scarlet.
Okay. Scarlet.
Mm-hmm.
You feel that familiar sensation of sinking into nothingness and your entire essence bleeding apart as Osiris dilutes every aspect of yourself.
I'm trying to fight it as Thatcher's saying, "Let her in. I want to talk to her."
You can talk to her. Yeah, in your mind, you can talk to her for sure. And respond to her saying, "Daughter, I welcome you home."
I have no home with you. The home you provide is a prison.
She does not respond to you. And you now have that familiar sensation of being held captive within your own body while watching what she does. But you're still in the dream.
Oh no.
Well. Osiris herself. Hello. Your incursions into my territory will not be tolerated, no matter your relations to my daughter. This voice is your voice, just with a little bit of bass to it. And your eyes are completely opaqued over in this conversation. You can hear all of this.
Yeah, but I can't do anything about it.
Oh, you're foolish. Like most cosmic creatures. That little worm you put in her head. Or the even smaller creature that exists in her sword. Or whatever took the priest that one time. No, you are foolish. And why'd you let me kill all your servants? Is the king not good enough? Did you want me to kill them? You could have stopped me, right? You were in that house the whole time. Oh, I can see a little bit more into your mind now. You shouldn't have come here. You shouldn't have come here. I don't care what kind of worm you are. You are equally to blame for what has happened to Reese and Rowan. And I will finish the job with the Crimson Court. Hopefully she's with me when I do it. You understand? Do you? We are finished with this conversation. My daughter will be the one who murders you and slits your throat and drags your soul into my presence, where I will savor every single drop. Just as she brings her friends to me, the destruction of this world will unfold and I will feast. And you will be part of that feast, you worm. You're as small as the creature you serve. And at that point, Scarlet, you lose it. You lose the senses. The Cirrus has dragged you out of the dream. And this is when those of you outside would see Scarlet's eyes open immediately to the opaqued over, clouded eyes.
At that reaction, I would cast Mind Blank on her immediately.
Scarlet, you would feel all of this clear away like power washer is just going across your brain and cleaning off all of the goo of the Cirrus and Thatcher as well to provide clarity to your mind. It brings you back into this space.
Is it all over? Was that all it really took? You didn't need me at all, Akbaralgoth says, walking away. A little disappointed there's no fight.
Scarlet.
The two elves say in unison.
When you were doing the mind blank, my head dropped and then it comes up and my eyes are back to their normal amber, but they're teary. I'm not like losing it, but just like just overwhelmed with everything that just happened, and I don't know.
All right. Take a moment.
I hate this. I hate everything about this. This constant pulling on my mind, and it isn't what I wanted, but I got to see him.
That's what's important, Scarlet. You got what you needed. Cirrus may have invaded your thoughts. I don't know what he said to you, but your actions speak too. And you were able to achieve that which you wished. Don't forget your own power in this, your own agency. The forces may pull, but it's up to you on how you react.
I tried to push back, Huron. I'm sick of failing. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of feeling less than. I'm sick of feeling like the only one that doesn't have control over my mind. Or my actions. It's the same argument we've had over and over. I don't need to bore you again with this, because I know you know as well.
Every failure is a chance to learn and grow, Scarlet. Don't forget it. And now I, too, have lost some control of my mind. By the gods, I've lost control of my body. My blood no longer courses through my veins. My heart no longer pumps blood. I am different because of the actions of others. But I will not give up. I will not falter. Because that's letting them win, Scarlet. Always remember that. Be frustrated. Be upset. But never stop.
I won't. I won't stop. That's why I keep trying to do this.
Of course. You're our flame, after all. You keep us going, too. But come, let's take a few more moments rest and get these manacles off, Kieran says as he disengages the locks. And maybe it's time we get back on the road soon.
At this point, before people start walking away,
Mhm.
Talray's just going to, go over to Scarlet, when things look to be breaking up, and say, "This might not be my place, but if you're worried about, whatever this force is that's been trying to take over your mind, we've been helping. I know, we have some semblance of control, but if you ever just want to get away, Lomond could help. We could take you somewhere where there's no evil forces that can reach you.
Does sound
Just something to
encouraging.
keep in mind."
Thank you, Tauri.
He just nods and hops back on Monday and continues to lead the trail.
Scarlet, before the mind blank came on, you did feel something fighting back against the Cirrus, trying to push her out. The first time in a little while, you felt the presence of, maybe because you haven't used him in a while, but the ichor of Isgoth does flow in you. The blade did try to fight the worm in your neck as you hoped it would when you bound yourself with it. And it's most likely the only reason you had a moment of control before the Cirrus came in.
I'll kind of just squeeze the handle.
So, the day's journey continues. Through the rain and cold and perhaps dour mood, you move through with the expectations of tomorrow coming until you eventually make camp for the night.
Oh, just quickly before you do that.
Absolutely.
That mind blank after casting on Scarlet, I'll have to go roll a d20.
That's right.
Okay. 30.
Good.
Or 3.
All right, you are not feeble-minded.
We're getting close.
I know.
We're getting closer each time.
I know. Yeah, it's like you're just praying for that 3 so you can maintain a new, like you can start rationing, but you just keep getting these 2s. Better than 1s, though.
Oh, yeah.
but you all can make camp for the night and rest and prepare for tomorrow. When you'll have some time in the morning to prepare yourselves, but you'll need to prepare your scries for whoever's going to scry. I know we have the Oculus that can scry, and Curon can also scry if necessary. But you can feel free to discuss that in the morning. Is there anything anyone would like to do this evening before you go to bed?
Well, yes. I tried messaging you. Did you see what I messaged you?
Oh, I did not, because I just got it.
And if it's a moot point and I can't do it, then just say no, and then we can just move on.
That's a good question. Then I'm not certain what the answer is. Let me just do a quick search. Not possible in a night. I looked at because there are actual optional rules for that.
Yeah.
And that would take a while to make. And probably an amount of gold you don't have. Even if I kind of shrank it just because I like the
That's
idea.
fine. Yeah,
but no,
that's fine.
no. On one night you wouldn't be able to do that.
So then I got nothing.
Okay. You find your rest in whatever way possible. I imagine you get that tiny hut up since it is still raining.
Yeah.
Okay. So you all dry off in the hut, get some sleep, wake up the next morning. You have the morning to prepare whatever you need to prepare before the meeting happens at 1 p.m. What would you like to do?
Roll a d4.
No, you don't have to because you got the 2. Oh, wait, you do at noon.
Yeah, it's been a whole day now.
Yeah, go ahead and roll a d4. Just so we can all feel tense about whatever's going to happen on the next day.
Oh my god, so many 2s, but it's okay. We get another day of 2 mind blanks. Yeah. So, recover
So
2.
I imagine we would have to mind blank before noon.
Correct, so I'm gonna have to mind blank you guys again, and then
Yeah.
roll another d20.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I just realized what you meant by that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, blank, bang, bang. Unless, Kieran or Scarlet, for some reason, had an objection to that.
Don't touch me.
Can I still
just kidding.
Can I use the orb without?
Yes,
With my
because
weapon?
you're scrying on
Not
someone
really
else.
nice.
It's not someone scrying on you. So mind blank doesn't stop you from casting divination spells or any spell like it. It just prevents others from doing it.
So, if they're okay with it, then do the routine mind blank.
Yeah, without. I don't even say anything. I just come up and just.
I kind of be quiet too, because Sarathil wanted to help in some sort of way, but for reasons beyond his control, he couldn't.
Yeah, I don't even think I look at you. I just come and then leave.
Sarathil gets a 10, no feeble-minded for today. So,
Okay.
sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, you're good. So is today the day?
Today is the day.
The BD, as it were.
Big day.
Birthday.
All right. Kieran, could you set up a nice temple? I know I take it for granted now, but
Yeah, I can do that. Yes, I can do that.
I just figured that we should kind of set up a base of operations while we're
All right,
prepare for the big day.
So, as basically once Sarathil casts Mind Blank, I'll take an hour to cast Temple of the Gods.
No problem.
And then we have the orb, and do we have any other means of...
So I can scry.
Mm-hmm. They do get the saving throw, but you have an overwhelming knowledge of the person, so
Yeah.
it's going to be really difficult for them to resist it.
So, Kieran goes, so I can scry on Kinsley if whoever else is using the carcery orb, Kieran says, looking at Scarlet, wants to scry on Thatcher, just in case something happens.
That was the plan.
And the Carcery Orb is an auto success on the scry. It's just a matter of you run the risk of getting a couple seconds of intense, horrifying pain and potential loss of self a little bit in Carcery.
What else is new?
Okay.
Who has the old? Do I have it?
You have it.
I have it. Great. I was the last one to use it, so that makes sense.
All right. Well, I guess we just wait until then, and then I don't know. I guess I'll make some tea until then. And
It does take 10 minutes to cast, so we should probably start casting at 12:50 p.m. Elysian Standard Time.
Oh,
wait,
do you
they
imagine,
might
do you imagine
be
if Thatcher is late to the meeting and you waste the whole 10 minutes of the scry and just Kinsley's sitting there like, oh god, son of a bitch. I wouldn't do that to you.
That'd be a great plot
think.
twist.
We
That'd be some DBZ shit. Like, tune in next week to see what actually happens.
Can you talk while you're scrying?
you should be able to.
Yeah,
right?
you can.
Wait,
Yeah, it doesn't restrict your ability to speak. You just can't see anything or hear anything around you.
Right.
So like Scarlet could talk while scrying and narrate.
Yeah.
She did that while Curon was dying. She narrated what was happening while Curon was getting killed.
Okay.
I'll do that. I'll do that this time too, so you guys.
I could technically cast Sending as I'm scrying.
Yeah, we've done that before, I think. Ascending's not a concentration spell.
Right.
You know what's funny is I was just sitting here thinking about it, and I was like, if Scarlet and Reese were identical twins and not fraternal twins, like you could argue that like having the twin there would get you the body part, lock of hair, bit of nail, or the like to give the -10 to the roll.
Well, I mean,
We're fraternal twins? Did we ever decide that? I thought we were identical.
Two
Shannon,
things.
you're male and female.
Okay, well.
identical twins did not mean identical DNA, so
Yeah, I guess that's true.
as a twin, how dare
They're
you?
twin?
You are. He is the
Yeah.
expert. That's right. Sorry.
It's true.
Anyway,
Also, twins don't have to be born at the same time. Think about it. Come back to me later.
I saw a story about that.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, well, this is not the well. It sort of is the twin hour, but
No, they have to. They have to.
anyway,
Is it 12:50?
it's yes. We're not going to sit here and wait 10 minutes for it to come.
It's 12:15. Do you know where your children are?
Yeah,
you
it's
know
about
where
12:57
Oh,
at this
I
point.
gotta
So
go back to my kids, guys. See you later.
I gotta find my parents.
all right, folks. 1 p.m. comes. You have been casting the spell. The scries go off. I'll give the Kinsley's who you're scrying on, right?
C.
I'm
Cool.
gonna give Kieran a nice back massage, and I'm gonna gaze into two minds in him, so I can watch the whole thing too.
Wow, that works.
Well, let's hope Kinsley doesn't succeed.
Yeah, I know, right?
Though I
Yeah.
believe it's a 25 he has to reach, so.
Yeah, because you it's -5, and you have what's your DC is 20, right?
Yeah.
And then he has a -5. What?
It's a 23. I don't have my artifact anymore. I lose my +2. modifier.
That's right. I forgot about that.
Because I haven't actually taken it off.
But you're getting a back massage, so you get an additional +2.
Yes, he gets a point of inspiration.
Yeah.
Neither of those things affect the other person's roll.
Oh,
But it
okay.
makes Kieran
I wasn't
happy.
trying to. I'm just saying.
Oh, he's
Kieran
just saying
gets
he's
some
inspired.
inspiration. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
inspired.
Yeah.
All right.
It may or may not apply, but he is inspired.
Kinsley
Oh,
does not succeed
Good.
by a 1.
Yeah. Well, one
It
is
was
the
still
back,
not.
It was the back massage.
I
yeah.
know.
Yeah,
It's the
it's
back
the
massage
back
that did it. It made me roll lower on Kinsley.
Yeah, it did.
I guess yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right, so Kinsley.
Sorry.
All right, Scarlet, you are using the orb.
Mhm.
Give me a wisdom saving throw.
16.
Okay. You still experience the thrust through carcery, but there's no influence that touches you. You don't hear the Harbinger, you don't feel the Harbinger. You do feel yourself going through that kind of horrifying tunnel of chittering nightmares. As the insect sounds crawl around, you feel your skin crawl with it as you go through and are pulled through that green light until you're able to see into it to see Thatcher. Oop, nope.
Ooh.
Mm.
Uh-oh.
Not the one I wanted. I'm just going through all my scary sounds.
Yeah.
There's the one I want. There's a particular one I want. I cannot find it.
But
It's the puppet song.
Yeah. I'm not going to show you Thatcher if you're going to laugh through the whole thing.
I was laughing at Mike.
I know.
Did you see his face?
funny guy.
I didn't because I was looking away. Scarlet, you do see Thatcher in the Valarian estate. It's how it was before. When you were there before. Trashed. There's that statue of a knight on the second floor that he has in the parlor that has been mutilated and defaced with all sorts of paint and parts that have been chipped off, and the wallpaper's ripped. All the pictures have been drawn on. Everything is broken. The windows are all shattered. Everything is ripped apart by the butchers when they were here for too long to keep bandits basically in one spot where they can't go out and rob and murder, and they just are gonna wreck the place like unsupervised dogs. Thatcher is just sort of standing there waiting. He is disguised as he was when you first met him, because this is how Kinsley knows him. But he just wears very simple clothes of the court, basically, or clothes of the sort of the working class clothes. That button up, long sleeves rolled up, buttoned up, opened at the top. A very, very plain brown vest, plain pants, boots. He's just leaning against the statue in this empty parlor. You don't see anyone else. He seems to be alone, at least in this room. He is arms are crossed like this, as one hand is holding his pallid mask that he is looking at, almost like looking at the face of. this weird reflection of his own, where the scars in his face are where the broken pieces of the mask are, connected only by wire to hold it all together, and that silver lining in the middle that holds the mask. He's just sitting there for now. Huron, you see Thatcher. I'm sorry, Kinsley. You have not seen Kinsley in a very long time. Months and months and months. You've spoken to him in your mind a very long time ago. But he looks very old compared to how he looked before. And granted, he was advanced in his ages. He was middle-aged when you saw him. It's only been a couple months, and he looks like he is weathered. His eyes are sunken in and sallow. His face is skinnier than it was before. There's a 5 o'clock shadow where once was the pristine shave of Kinsley. His hair is longer than it was before by 2 months. He looks like a mess, but he's still wearing that plate armor he always wears with all the embellishments, as he's followed by two of his grist knights. Extremely tall, covered in their own plate armor, faces concealed behind that plate armor with the green tabard. Recall fighting these grist knights back in the trenches of Endurus. They are, for lack of a better way to put it, his super soldiers. As they follow behind him, almost like silent automatons. He is looking up at the estate. He is outside the wrought iron fencing as you see this schlubby bandit on the other side of this wrought iron gate. Just sort of grins at him as they open the doors. They unlock the wrought iron gate and open it. There's snow falling in Caradolin as he walks in across the courtyard, up the steps into the main parlor of the Valarian estate, where Thatcher awaits. Scarlet, you would see before Kinsley enters, Thatcher hears the footsteps outside. Of course, Timber, you are also in on this. He conceals and puts away the pallid mask upon hearing this, steps up, and walks over to the shattered windows and there's snow billowing inside of this tattered room, and the only sound is really the wind and the kind of flopping tatters of curtain and wallpaper in this chamber, and the rocking of loose paintings on the walls, or loose animal heads that are hanging from a single nail. One might fall and crash as he's watching Kinsley walk across the courtyard. Yes.
Wait, sorry, Kinsley's not inside yet?
This is right before Kinsley walks in.
Alright, Kieran casts sending to Bookdasha, normal sending. Just goes, "Are you there? We're watching now."
You would hear back from her. "Yes, I am hidden in the parlor with Thatcher right now." As Kieran, as you send this, you would through following Kinsley,
right.
you can see Kinsley look up and see Thatcher in the shattered windows looking down at him. Scarlet, Thatcher walks over and drags 2 chairs over to the window, setting them up next to each other at the window, right in front of the window, as he sits in one of them waiting. As cool, calm, and collected as Thatcher is, this is a nice insight into the before moments of any of these intense meetings, as Thatcher is, despite being this maniacal, all-knowing, planning genius, is sort of sitting there, cracking his knuckles, sitting forward, bouncing his leg, clearly nervous, despite all of his confidence. Until he hears the doors open, as Kinsley would enter. Those of you watching Kinsley would get a good view of the space now, seeing how this manor is empty. There's low lit candles here and there, but it's mostly lit by the shattered windows with the the white light of the snow against the very, very small amount of sunlight that's out there even at noon or at 1 p.m. with the long dark in its final month. So there's more light than there would be any other time in the long dark. Yes.
Inside the room, can Curon try to perceive Bogdasha? To know
You
where
absolutely
she
can.
is?
Give me a perception check.
Oof, 18. I genuinely hope she beats that.
Yeah, no, if she didn't beat that, then you'd be in trouble.
Yeah.
No, she is. You do not see her.
Okay.
She's
good.
just sitting there holding a leaf in the corner.
Yeah, she's pretending to be the guy on the mounted statue.
All right, cool. So Curon feels confident that she's hidden well.
Yeah. You do not see Bogdasha.
Good.
And you almost like in your mind are thinking about like the ways Kaze conceals himself in dim light and how she's probably employing similar tactics. So Kinsley kind of steps up and you see those two knights kind of stop there firmly and are looking around the room as that one schlubby bandit is in front of them and looks to Thatcher. The Honorable Aldrich Kinsley, Duke of somewhere and General to the Frontier Armies in Honduras. I present him to you, I guess. Is that good? Is that what you usually get? Yeah. And Thatcher kind of smiles and smirks. As Kinsley now, you can see, is an expert at hiding his emotions, as you all know from the past. And he may be bundled, well, not you, Sarathil, and not you, Talray, and not Ekbrogoth. He is as stoic as always. He is in general mode. He's not in his lord mode that you've seen him in when he's wearing kind of fabulous robes and drinking and brushing shoulders. He is in the exact same mode he was when he interrogated the three of you back in Imagine Set 1,000 years ago. And this is what you've done to one of the great houses of Oxlin. Thatcher sort of shakes his head and lifts himself from the chair almost reluctantly, almost like he didn't want to stand up. He wanted just for Kinsley to sit down. And if you desire the pomp and circumstances of lordship and aristocracy, I welcome the Duke Kinsley to the Valarian estate. I have recently become the lord of myself, as you can see. Please take a seat. Would you like a refreshment? I was merely commenting on your disrespect for the Oxlin houses. You don't need to pretend anything. I'm not here for your games, Thatcher. Is it done? And you see Kinsley takes a seat there, and you see his two guards. One goes to stand behind him, and the other one actually goes to stand behind Thatcher, and he's just, no. You stay over there. Beautiful. Whatever's under there. And Kinsley nods, and the guard returns behind him. I repeat, is it done? Have you dealt with your sister's debts to my house? He snaps his fingers, and that same schlubby bandit comes out from the other room with a bag, which clearly is soaking red. Just drops it on the ground in front of Kinsley. There's no table between them. Like, it almost rolls out the window with how careless they're being with it, as you hear sort of the splat of it. 1 Crimson King. Go ahead and look if you want to verify. You've seen the son of a bitch before. You know what he looks like. Kinsley takes up the bag. Or actually, no, Kinsley doesn't even touch the bag. He puts a hand up, and the wrist knight grabs the bag for him. And it drags the head of the Crimson King, William Mason, out. And it's gross because he's been dead for a month, almost. And it's rotten. There are maggots in it. The eyes are basically sunken in and almost completely just mushy red now. Skin pale and stiff. Oh. I thought you only recently completed this. His head looks like it's been rotting for weeks. Yeah. I wasn't gonna pass off on a vacation in Gristrom on your dime. Your copper, your silver, your gold. But it's done then. Your sister is freed from her charge with our house. Doesn't mean she's free from her crimes against Oxland. Don't worry about that, Kinsley. So, does that conclude our business? I have so enjoyed working with you again. You know how expensive that Lay Sanctum was that her friend destroyed. I think that will do for now, Thatcher. Now I have more important business to deal with, and more important people to deal with. Don't recall there's a war in the south. Oh, I know. Good business. Good for business, war. People need things moved around without taxes, you know. Taxes are so high right now. Your needs. Smuggling is good these days. You know, no war, we're smuggling illicit goods, but when there's a war, you can just smuggle grain. People are desperate not to pay their taxes. But I know all about the war. I know it's going well. I know you're pushing. You'll soon be able to get as far south as Vermalcia, maybe. With your wintertime tactics. Attacking when they don't even have the defenses. Some might say it's dishonorable, but I understand. What do you know of our strategies? Oh, I know a lot. I know as much as you do. And I think it's time for you to start taking a seat. A back seat, one might say. Or maybe even off the cart entirely. Do you understand? Hardly. Thatcher. I think our business is done here. No, it's not. It's not done at all. Kinsley, Lord of Gristrom. Decorated war hero. Chief advisor to King Heinrich. Little Henry. Have you ever been to Cindermire? Little town in your lands. No. I've never been to there. Hardly anyone lives there anymore. Those mines have dried out. Yeah. But they're under your protection, right? You've never been there, but you swear to protect those people. They're so close to the front lines these days. With the elves pushing through the dwarven defenses in the gap. Town might be overrun soon, and Gristrom will be vulnerable. I don't understand why this bumble of villagers matters in this discussion. Why would you? But I have one last stipulation in our exchange. You're to stop advising King Henry. You will speak to a proxy to deliver news about the war in the south, and you will stay in the south to tend to our military and our interests in Honduras against the Gwyn Empire. I don't understand why do you believe you can speak to me this way? And why is this a game? Are we playing something here? It's enough. I don't want to play any more games with you, Thatcher. I've had enough games. And Kinsley stands up abruptly, pushing the chair back, as Thatcher sort of sits back. I'm sorry. I forgot to put my face on. Let me change that for you. As Kinsley his face will meld and twist, his hair will turn blonde, as he'll take the form of what appears to be a half-elven man. Young, not as young as Heinrich, probably in his late 20s, early 30s, similar to Thatcher's own age, in pristine aristocratic robes and gown and frill, jewels and gems on his hands, long, narrow, angular face, attractive, but more Gwyn-like. I believe this is a better face for you to talk to. I'm sure you've met me before. I've seen you at court, you've seen me at court, and I have talked to Henry about you before. And it is under our mutual interest that I have discerned that it is wise, or perhaps will be wise, for me to provide documentation to Henry about your activities in the lay sanctums that caused this war. Now, if you want to maintain your position, your prowess in the Quintarchy, then I understand, and I respect that you will respect my commands to stay in the south, deal with the war, and leave statesmanship to the leaders in the court. Understood, General Kinsley? You see Kinsley is like shocked in this moment. You fucking criminal. Butcher. You think that I will bend my knee to some charlatan who twisted his words into a court greater than his position in this kingdom? No. I will not. You will be the one. Henry will forsake this. And you see pure anger starts to well in it, because he's just realizing in this moment all the things this weird stranger that's been in the court that he has not thought a second thought of. Just thought it was like, oh, Henry is, he's 19. Like, he's just made some royal aristocratic friends that he's doing things with. The two knights step forward as recognizing Kinsley's anger. Oh, no. You should keep things a little more civil here, Kinsley, as the mask goes away. I thought that you were a man of wisdom and education, graduate, decorated alumni of the academy, war hero. We don't want things to get messy here. Will you comply? Kinsley, in anger, puts his hand to the hilt of his sword. Oh no, I wouldn't suggest that. What are you going to do? You're alone in this chamber, except for that measly guard. I have 2 grist knights with me. They could cut you down in a second, and this will all be over, and no one in the entire history of the Quintaki will ever remember the name Thatcher or Bancroft, whoever you are.
Oh, give us characters to play.
Thatcher smirks as he's not reacting. He's sitting he leans back in the chair and almost slouches in it as the 2 grist knights draw their swords at Kinsley's threat. As Kinsley's about to draw his own sword, some sort of magic interferes with his knights. At least one of them. One of them, you would see almost like at first you think it's an invisible rope goes around their neck and drags them up into the air. But as you look closer, you can see it's strings that wrap around the neck of this knight and drag them up. As you then see out of the shadows, another of Thatcher's servants jumps onto the back of the other knight. As Thatcher just sort of sits there, sort of like biting his fingernail as he's staring at Kinsley, who then kind of like immediately draws his sword and turns around and looks to see his knight dragged up there. The other knight immediately rushes forward to attack Thatcher, as he would. And you watch as Thatcher, sort of chewing on his nail, looks up and sees this knight coming at him with a great sword, a Zweihander, one might say. No, never mind, just a great sword. Comes forward, rushing forward to bring the blade down, and Thatcher just hold a hand up, and he tries to stop the knight with some magic. He essentially tries to cast Hold Person on the knight. But these knights are anti-mages. And you watch as the different materials on the armor, the same armor that Cal had, the same type of stones on it, light up and absorb the magic of the Hold Person, and it brings this blade down at Thatcher. Thatcher has a moment where his eyes go wide, and the only moment in this entire interaction where he is genuinely not mocking people and has a moment of like, oh, I gotta fight, basically, as his eyes open and the blade is about to cut through his face, basically, and he quickly rolls out of the way as it completely severs the Cherusin in two as the sword goes into the ground, and he kind of jumps backwards as the knight did get a natural 1 on their attack. Currently, Kinsley, first of all, this knight also is completely ignoring the man on his back. Like he is not even attempting to deal with that. He's just going for Thatcher. That man now is trying to rip the helmet off to get a point in to stab this guy in the throat. He gets a natural 20. So as the helmet is being pulled off, those of you watching can see like the grotesque purple veins of these grist knights that go all over their faces. They have normal human faces, but their blood is infused with magic to give them extra strength and power and whatnot. And you see they kind of look up as then the knife just goes right into the throat and really messily is jaggedly ripped around as the blood splurts out. And this knight falls to his knees and collapses to the ground as Kinsley then brings his sword on this guy who just slit the knight's throat. And Kinsley misses as as his other knight is being strangled up in the air by these strings. You would see another figure comes out from the dark and goes to attack Kinsley to attempt to attack him, to cut at his back legs to bring him to his knees. He succeeds, but Kinsley very quickly kind of turns around and immediately grabs his face, and you see Kinsley's gauntlet burns bright red as he's searing this man's face with his magic and shoves him to the ground as Kinsley's now down on one knee. As you then see another one of Thatcher's servants comes running up to Kinsley, the one that he failed to attack, and brings his sword across his back, and you see it just sort of scratches against the plate armor and hits the ground as Kinsley would then grab at his face with the searing gauntlet, trying to attack him with that. Will get him, and he just sort of rips that guy across, and you see these two servants of Thatcher now have these completely burned away faces on the ground, dead, as one of Kinsley's guards is dead, and the other one right now is kind of grabbing at his throat as he's being strangled to death in this tangle of strings. As Kinsley looks up, and he cannot see Thatcher at this point. Scarlet, you can see Thatcher. As he is lying in a wait in the shadows. And he just starts to taunt him as he taunted the Crimson King when he killed the Crimson King. Are you upset that you lost the ear of the boy king? You can no longer whisper your little secrets about the crimes of the Gwyn Empire. You afraid that you'll be exposed and maybe you'll be lost to history, Kinsley, no longer the war hero, but a disgraced general who machinated the bloodiest war in the history of his kingdom. You see Kinsley is furious at this point. You see he immediately throws that gauntlet aside, or whips that gauntlet through the air, as you see these chromatic sprays of magic shoot across the room, the same chromatic attacks that he used on, or prismatic attacks that he used on you all, and they just can't quite hit. Kieran, give me a perception check.
19.
With the spray of these lights, with a 19, I'll say you do see Bogdasha in this moment. Very, very briefly, because of the light that's cast off of Kinsley's magic. It doesn't seem like Kinsley or Thatcher noticed her, because they seem to be focused on each other. Well, you're not sure about Thatcher. You don't know where Thatcher is. She is up in the corner, sort of holding herself up in the corner with these sort of specialized gauntlets of the sulk to latch herself into the wall. She's basically just waiting up there to drop down when she has a chance, if she needs to, or waiting to crawl out of here when everything is quiet. But she is watching the whole thing, and you can see her eyes like kind of measuring each man as they fight.
So I don't have eyes on Thatcher,
You don't have eyes on Thatcher.
and he's most likely not beneath her.
No.
If she dropped down and just
She couldn't drop down now on Thatcher because he's not below her.
Okay.
Or you don't see him below her. She maybe her eyes darting around. Maybe she's looking for Thatcher, and not measuring up the men. She is still there at this point. Kinsley is spraying magic everywhere, basically. You see, like, some of the curtains catch on fire in these sort of variety of chromatic colors as they're burning away. And then you would see, Scarlet, you would see Thatcher, who is hiding in the shadows, just sort of casually steps out. He's got that same knife that he had, that he's just sort of holding in his hand as he looks up, kind of in that reverse position that he had. And you see he twinges a finger. He just sort of whips his fingers like this, and you can see Kinsley's sword in his hand immediately starts to burn bright and hot as he casts heat metal on his sword. Kinsley sort of immediately drops the sword in anger and looks around and sees Thatcher there. It's just us now, isn't it, then? No more of your tricks. No more of my knights. Fight. Come. If you think you're strong enough. I don't want to fight you, Kinsley. I just want you to comply. Comply, you'll have a seat of privilege in the histories. You'll still be a decorated war hero. Just won't control everything. You won't have any more say in the business of the Quintarchy. You don't have to die today. I don't want to kill you. And you see he rushes forward towards Thatcher. Kinsley does. With that burning blade, that burning hand, that gauntlet. It's the only weapon he has other than his own fists. And he goes to attempt to grab Thatcher with it. Thatcher seems to, similar to the Crimson King, let him grab him with these. But maybe overestimates his own power, as Kinsley grabs him by the throat in the same way the Crimson King grabbed him by the throat, but got a natural 20. And the fire is burning against Thatcher's throat right now as he's squeezing the life out of him. As Thatcher is smiling back at Kinsley right now. Scarlet, the way that he's grabbing him now, you can see, like you can see the pallid mask at his waist. And he's attempting to get the strength to pull the same maneuver he pulled last time. He's got the dagger in his hands, but he seems to be losing his grip on it as Kinsley is squeezing and squeezing and squeezing.
Can I cast sending to him?
Yeah?
All I would say is finish it.
The blade comes up. He uses what strength he has to draw the blade up against Kinsley's throat. But it's not a clean cut. But it's enough for Kinsley to drop him. As Kinsley grasps at the cut across his neck that is bleeding profusely and will kill him over time, but is not going to immediately incapacitate him. He drops to his knees as Thatcher kind of drops to his knees also in front of him, and they're both sort of a bit out for the count here. As Kinsley looks at him and can't really speak with the cut across his neck. He's just sort of spitting blood out right now. Sort of, you can see, and you see it like splatters against Thatcher's face, and he just sort of does a little quick, as he's trying to catch his breath because he is seconds from passing out from being strangled, and his throat is entirely burned. The skin is singed across his neck. It didn't need to be this gruesome, Kinsley. You could have just complied. And you see him reach for that pallid mask.
As he's reaching for it, Kiran sends a message to Bugdasha and goes, "Finish it. Be careful of his mask. Don't let either one leave."
And
then he's going to cast a divine intervention.
Ooh,
To
ooh,
send
baby.
whatever fucking help he can.
What are you doing?
High or low? High or low? This is
Low.
Okay. So you've got to be 1 through 35.
93.
You utter a quick, brief prayer for Bugdasha to divinely guide her own weapons.
I use my last sending
Yeah.
to my brother. Finish it.
You guys are all right. As he is about to put the mask on, the two of you look and see in the corner Bugdasha drop down. As Kinsley Thatcher was like about to put the mask on, and as he does it, he was wondering when you join us. And that's where we'll end tonight.
Oh, damn it!
Yeah, of course he knew she was there. It was in your brain.
That was my bad.
All right, folks. We will find out what you all see in the last few moments of your scryings, because they will end pretty quickly after this. But of course, I know Kiran can cast it again. But Scarlet, you won't be able to watch after a few moments from this moment. You'll probably see like a couple more like equivalent of a couple rounds of combat. But if you wanted to continue watching further, you'll have to rely on Kiran's scrying. But thank you, folks, for joining us tonight. We have other programming throughout the week. Join me on Thursday for Relaxing Paradise, where I will continue working on the terrain. It looks like a bubblegum tree right now, but it will look cooler when it's painted. Some of the scatter terrain for Queen Ayla's throne room. These are going to have
bubblegum forest.
It's her bubblegum forest, yeah. It's going to have these pustules growing on the trees, based on the description I gave of the chamber. We'll be working on that on Thursday. Sunday, there will be no power hour because Shannon will be away, and it's also Father's Day. So I will be with my family. Friday is the return of the Scales Above on Roll for Damage. I'll be there. Shannon won't be there. And yeah, join us for more programming. Come back next week on Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to find out what happens. And we will, what?
6 p.m.
Did I say 7?
You did.
Sorry, folks. 6 p.m. our new time. And we'll go from there. We just finished the Strixhaven campaign, and those VODs will be posted this week, along with the rest of the VODs for Advantage in Paradise. We should be up to date by next episode. So if you want to catch up, you can watch those. We also have the recaps in our Discord. We're going to send a raid on over to somebody now. We're going to send a raid to... we'll go TPK roleplay. I don't know what TTRPG they're playing. Probably D&D, but it just says TTRPG. So go and check out what they're doing and give them some love from Paradice. All right, everyone. Say goodbye. Say goodnight to everybody.
Bye.
Bye. Good night, everybody.